Hello, welcome to my Tech Farm. My name is Igor and today I have a very special product review, and it is the CR-Scan 01 kit by Creality, and this box is sent to me by Creality 3D shop for a review. Earlier I used the 3D scanners, mostly Xbox Kinect for 3D scanning, but this should be much better because it is complex product with software too. Just two specifications I want to mention now from this box. The scanning range is from 0.3 to 2 meters hand-holded, and using a turntable is between 0.3 and 0.5 meters. Accuracy is 0.1 millimeter, resolution 0.5 millimeters. Let's see a few other specifications on the website. I'm now on Creality 3D shop website, and here you can see some specifications of this product. It arrives with this tripod. It has fast scanning, high precision, multiple languages. It can be used in handheld mode or with a tripod for better accuracy, but with smaller objects. It has high precision, 0.1 millimeter accuracy, that's very precise. Ultra large format, and this is my favorite, automatic multi-pose alignment. This means that you can scan the same object in different positions and then it will align them automatically, or you can do it manually, but with this you can scan some parts which will be covered if you use only one position scanning. Auto alignment, intelligent precision, true color scanning, the other specifications you can visit on the website. And now let's see what's in the box. Here outside the box I can see some examples for the using in different industries, but I'm very curious what is inside. This is the tripod. Turntable with micro USB connection. It's some user manual. This is the main unit of the 3D scanner. Here we have some plugs for cables. USB disk. Cable. Power adapter. I hope I need a EU plug. Okay, there are different adapters, so I have to use this one here in Europe. And at the end I have this cover for the turntable. It is textured for the better accuracy of the scanning. And that's it, the box is empty. This is the content of the USB disk, and I can see an STL file and this one, and I can see that it is not included in the box, so this is some kind of holder for the scanner. Of course it can be used without this too, but it will be more comfortable, so probably I have to print this one if I want to use it. Then we have here this user manual in PDF, and I noticed that it is a little bit more detailed than this printed version, and I believe this is more up to date. And the most important is this exe file, which is the CR Studio for the scanning software. And I will start with this installation because I'm not sure, maybe there will be some drivers installed too, which are required before I connect the hardware. And I got this warning, so attach your device to this computer anytime after the installation is finished. And now let's prepare the hardware installation. The other side will go into the scanner, but after I install it on the tripod. I'm connecting the turntable now. It goes here. And I will arrange a little bit this cable because I don't want it to be too visible in the shots. the main cable, and the last one will be the power cable. It goes here, and I can secure it with these two bolts. Maybe this is the power cable, and I can see there is a groove, so it has to be in correct position. Now I connect this cable to USB input on laptop. And when all wires are connected, only then I will plug this into AC power. I can hear there is a fan inside, but it doesn't bother me. Let's find something for scanning. Let's try this one. I think it will not be easy, but I want to scan it and then later 3D print it. I record from this side because just in case if I cannot use the screensaver because the processor will be overloaded, then you can still see what's happening on the screen. I'm starting the CR Studio. It's asking for that calibration file which was on the USB disk, but I copied it to the computer. Import. And I will start with the table mode. And the first step is to do a preview, because I have to be sure that the object is in the frame and the turntable, and also I have to adjust the brightness if necessary to get correct colors on the object. And then I have to remove the object from the turntable and start with the initial. And now it is recording only the table, and it's approximately red here. Then I can stop this part. I will place back the object and click start. It finished the single pose, and now I can start again. Save the project first, okay, let's say 1. It's saving the first project file now, and then it will do another scan in this pose. And now it finished with this second pose. So here we have 2 scans. And now let's process the data. So we will have these 2 scans, and align mode auto, simplify faces, was it 200,000 fill holes. Okay, process. Let's see what will we do automatically. So the auto align doesn't work. In that case, I can do it manually and create marker pair. In this case, I have to click this and search for 2 points on the dog. Let's say the ear. Right click right click. Okay. Then, for example, again create a marker pair. The tail is again one easily recognizable spot. Right click and right click here. Let's see what can we find as easily recognizable common spot. One of the legs maybe, or the problem when I turn it off, I cannot mark the leg. I want to mark it here. But let's try some other point. Let's try the other ear. Marker pair, right click here and right click here. And now this button is enabled after I have 3 points. And it's almost good. If it's not good, then okay, apply. If it's not good, then I can repeat with other points too. But now these two objects are almost on one of each other. Even the legs. Okay. I think I can proceed with next step. Next. And this process will take several minutes. And after a few minutes the object is prepared. Well, I can take a look if I want to here. Not bad, but this is texture. I can see some problems here with the leg. And the eyes are flat because here we have this spherical eyes and nose. But I'll fix that later. So export. And I want to fix this object in Meshmixer. Not bad, but I can see those eyes are completely different because it should have those spherical eyes. And I think this leg was a little bit in shadow. So here I have to fix these sculpting brushes. Smooth. And now I want to fix these eyes and the nose, and I will add just a sphere, Meshmixer. And now I have to select all files holding the shift button, and there is a combine, and it's now one object, and I can export it and import it to the slicer. And now before I start with the printing, I want to do two things. Here I use the paint on supports because I don't want to supports here on the eyes. And also I want to get a little bit bigger flat contact surface, so I will cut maybe 1 millimeter from the bottom. Okay, I need only upper part, I don't need the lower part. 5 millimeters, okay, perform cut. And now I have a nice flat surface here, and these parts will be printed thanks to the supports. Let's see how it looks like. And here it is. So I need supports for head, tail, and this middle part of the body. I forgot to use the brim on the legs because it starts for a very small contact surface, but on 25 millimeters, this means 2 millimeters more, they will be connected, and from that part it will be a safe printing. In the meantime, I scanned several objects and I learned a few things. For example, this object was not perfect for this two-position scanning because it is not completely solid. And when I turned it on the side, there was a minimal deformation, but that was enough that automatic align will not be recognized. Of course, you can always do it manually, and yes, that method works to turn off one object until you select the point on the other, but always you have to turn it back on. That's why I couldn't use this method, I forgot to do this. So, in most cases, this scanning, automatic aligning works, but it has to be at least this size of the object or a little bit bigger. It must be solid and not shiny. For example, here you saw the eyes couldn't be recognized correctly because they are too shiny, so I added a small sphere in a Meshmixer. About small objects, for example this size, it can be scanned too without any problems, but not in two position. It will not be recognized automatically, and I will recommend you to place it on something to separate it from the turntable. So this object, if you want to use more passes, you can do it, but not with changing the position of the object. Instead, change the position of the scanner. For example, do one pass in this position, and then raise the scanner. You can do one pass from this position, or even you can place it on some kind of box. And in this case, the object relatively to the turntable don't change the position, and it will recognize those two passes more easily, even with these small objects. Now I want to test the handhold mode scanning, but I didn't print that holder because it's too big. It's not designed for printing. It's actually proper for injection molding tool. More about this in conclusions. And I couldn't find any volunteer for this experimenting, so this will be my test object. And again, I'm starting with the CR Studio, and this time I'm choosing the hand scan. I didn't print that hand holder, so instead I will use this tripod in this position. And I want to scan only the head, so I try to get around, but I am limited with this cable. There is a countdown. I have to go around the object and I must keep it in the center, and if I get a warning in the red bar on the top of the screen, I have to slow down and sometimes even move back a little bit. I will not print this object, only analyze it digitally, but first let's see what elements I want to search on digital version. For example, this hair here between eyes, and then I'm curious if the nose will be visible. And next, well, the mouth, but the mouth I didn't scan it from the bottom. I'm not sure what will be visible from this. Then we have these smaller lines, they're really small on the side, and then the hair on the back side. Well, of course the ears, and that's it, because I concentrated only for the head. Processing is almost finished. So let's take a closer look. Here is that hair, and I can see the nose without any problems, and yes, the mouth looks also very good. Of course the bottom part was not scanned because I didn't move the scanner below its head, and those small lines are also very visible. And the hair, these are quite bigger lines now compared to those on the side. So the scanning is very nice. Only I could go below the head too, but I'm satisfied with this result. Conclusions about the handhold scanning. Well, it's not that easy until I really enjoyed the turntable mode. Here, this really needs a lot of practicing, and I'm not don't have that experience yet, because you always have to keep in mind that the object is in the center, so you have to watch the monitor. But you have to keep the correct distance. You have to move very slowly. If you move quickly, then you will get a warning on the screen. But you have to constantly point the scanner into the object. One interesting trick which was useful for me, I glue here the tool stick, and that's very useful for aiming. So I really tried that tool stick to show into the object. This helps a lot, but you still have to watch the screen too, because if you move a little bit faster, then you will get a warning to stop or slow down or go back a little bit. And yes, it works, but I'm quite limited with this cable. I'm not sure how long is it, maybe 1.5 meters. So yes, I saw on the website that it can scan big objects, 1.5 meter, I think that was on that picture. But maybe from one side, or you have to hold your laptop in your hand and move around it, but also you need a power supply for the scanner. So yes, maybe only from the one side, but if you want to go around the object, in that case, well, it must be smaller, and as I mentioned, pay attention to the cables. And my final thoughts, extremely interesting and super useful tool, a little bit expensive, but huge improvement compared to the Xbox Kinect. Especially that turntable mode, that's fantastic with that automatic aligned scanning in two positions, and I really enjoyed that part. From scanning from the hand, well, that I didn't enjoy it so much because for this you need a lot of practicing. And I don't think it will be easier using that holder which is provided as a STL file. I saw a video that earlier in the box it was included separately, but now probably they decide it's cheaper if they not include it as a STL file. And I spent 6 years in injection molding industry, and I can recognize that STL file is optimized for injection molding tool to create and not for 3D printing. Because yes, it can be printed with a lot of supports, printed in maybe 1 day, and with a little modifications it can be printed with maybe 5 hours or something like that. I'm sure it will be on Thingiverse maybe in a half years by somebody, but it would be better if Creality would redesign this, optimized for 3D printing. And especially it cannot fit on the Ender 3 build plate. About the software, well, that's also a very important part, because hardware without software doesn't work much. That's my biggest problem with Xbox Kinect. I have to use some third-party softwares, which is quite limited, especially if you don't use the paid version. Here the software and the hardware works together. I can see a little bit space for improvement in the software. For example, with that automatic align. Okay, I understand that sometimes it cannot recognize it immediately, but if I start with manually, and it will be almost completely aligned. In that case, if I click on auto align, it starts from the zero. Instead, if it is so close, just a small adjustment and it will be aligned perfectly. I have this experience from the panoramic image stitching. If cannot recognize immediately, then I start with the stitching approximately, give the approximate position, and from that it's very easy to find that common points and finish that stitching. So something like that can be implemented here too. I'm mixing a little bit more tools for editing. For example, I want to cut the different part of this from this object. I need more practicing maybe using this object, but it is not so obvious in this case. Anyway, well, definitely, as I mentioned, it's not cheap tool, but extremely interesting and useful 3D scanner, and I hope I could give you some useful information. Thank you for watching and happy scanning. Bye.